Hey there and welcome to Scandal Steep. Dalton has recently found itself at the center of controversy following a significant decision by the state's regulatory body. The state has suspended certain financial transfers to the town due to Dalton's failure to comply with legal requirements for submitting monetary reports. This move has sparked frustration among both the town's board and its residents, who are demanding accountability for the mishandling of funds. The tension was palpable during a recent meeting of the Board of Legal Administrators in Dalton Municipality, where the community expressed their dissatisfaction with the current leadership. Tiffany Henryard, the town manager of Dalton, is no stranger to controversy, but recent events have escalated her situation to new heights. During a recent town meeting in Dalton, Illinois, Henryard made a strikingly bold statement that left many in the room stunned. With a microphone in hand and an air of unwavering confidence, she addressed the town's residents, who have been questioning her about alleged corruption. Instead of acknowledging any wrongdoing or showing even a hint of humility, Henry took a defiant stance, blaming the residents for their own predicament. She claimed that the issues the town faces were the result of the residents' own failures rather than her mismanagement. Imagine the frustration of being in a room filled with people who are already fed up with your leadership, only to hear the person in charge assert that they're not to blame. That's exactly what Henry did during the heated meeting. She dismissed accusations of misconduct and instead shifted the blame entirely onto the residents, implying that their lack of unity and internal conflicts were responsible for the town's financial collapse. It was as if she was saying that if the residents had been more cohesive and less combative, the town wouldn't be in such a dire state. This brazen attitude was on full display again at another legal administrators meeting in Dalton Municipality, where the board and residents continued to seek accountability for their funds. Henryard, already under federal scrutiny and accused of mishandling taxpayer money, presented herself as a bold figure defending her actions. She seemed to suggest that the financial issues were somehow the fault of Dalton's residents rather than the result of her own mismanagement. Things took a more bizarre turn when former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was called in to investigate Dalton's finances. Lightfoot's report revealed a shocking decline in the town's financial health. The general fund, which had stood at a healthy $5.61 million in 2022, had plummeted to a staggering deficit of $3.65 million by May 2024. Yet Henryard continued to portray herself as a hero who had cleaned up Dalton, despite evidence suggesting otherwise. Adding to the scandal, Lightfoot's investigation uncovered troubling financial practices under Henry's leadership. The report highlighted that Henryard had used town funds for lavish personal purchases from retailers like Amazon, Target, and Wayfair. One particularly shocking revelation was her expenditure of $33,000 in a single day on Amazon. The misuse of public funds extended beyond shopping sprees. Henryard was also accused of using town resources for her own security, hiring a large security detail that cost the town thousands in overtime for police officers. Former Dalton Police Chief Robert Collins, who was dismissed by Henryard, criticized this misuse of police resources. Collins argued that the security detail, intended for Henry's personal protection, was diverting officers from their crucial duties of combating crime. Clearly, Henryard had no qualms about using town assets for her own benefit, even if it meant compromising public safety. Collins's remarks emphasized the absurdity of having officers on personal security detail instead of performing their actual duties. Despite the mounting evidence against her, Henryard remained defiant. She dismissed the FBI's investigation into her conduct as a mere political stunt, though it's worth noting that federal investigations are not undertaken lightly. The FBI had been scrutinizing her activities for an extended period, gathering extensive documentation from financial and personnel records to build their case. While Henry might want Dalton's residents to believe that the situation is merely a misunderstanding, the reality is far from reassuring. The scrutiny surrounding her actions is severe, and the investigation continues to uncover more troubling details. Notably, Henry's administration has also faced allegations of harassment and intimidation. For example, former Dalton trustee Valeria Hicks has claimed that her home was targeted in a hit-and-run attack after she publicly criticized Henryard. Hicks suspects that Henryard may have been behind the attack, further complicating the already tense atmosphere. Additionally, Henryard's longtime associate, former Deputy Police Chief Les Fancy, has been indicted on bankruptcy fraud charges. Fancy, a key figure in Henryard's inner circle, is accused of concealing assets to avoid paying creditors, highlighting the questionable company Henryard keeps. Yet she continues to deny any wrongdoing and portrays herself as a victim of a smear campaign. The growing frustration among Dalton's residents is evident, with many expressing their dissatisfaction through social media and calling for Henry's resignation. Comments range from demands for her arrest to calls for her removal from office. The sentiment is clear: residents are fed up with Henry's leadership and are demanding change. Henry, however, appears unshaken by the criticism. At a recent meeting, she addressed the community with a degree of confidence bordering on arrogance, promising to clarify matters soon. Despite her claims of having more evidence to support her actions, it is difficult to imagine what she could present to convince anyone that her tenure has been anything but self-serving. It's puzzling how someone like Tiffany Henryard has managed to hold on to power for so long. Her leadership style seems to combine arrogance, manipulation, and a blatant disregard for the community she is supposed to serve. Despite all the controversies, she remains in office. Some speculate that her continued hold on power is due to a network of loyal supporters who back her regardless of the situation, while others believe she simply knows how to navigate the political landscape effectively. Moreover, Henryard's influence extends beyond Dalton. She is also the manager of Thornton Municipality, earning an additional $200,000 annually. While the residents of Dalton struggle financially, Henryard benefits from a combined salary that exceeds that of the governor of Illinois. Reports suggest that she spends this substantial income on extravagant trips, fine dining, and luxury hotels at the taxpayer's expense. One particularly outrageous example of her spending involved over $67,000 on trips to cities like Portland, Austin, Atlanta, and New York City, including stays at high-end hotels and first-class flights. With all this in mind, questions remain about what the future holds for Henry and Dalton. Will the FBI ultimately hold her accountable, or will she manage to evade justice and continue her controversial tenure as mayor? The community's frustration is palpable, and residents are determined to seek the answers they deserve. The situation is reaching a boiling point, with increasing numbers of people speaking out against her leadership. One resident's remark at a recent meeting, labeling Henryard as the worst mayor in America, reflects the growing dissatisfaction. As Henryard remains steadfast in her position, it is clear that the conflict between her and Dalton's residents is far from over. The outcome of this tumultuous situation remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the residents of Dalton are not giving up in their quest for justice.